This is Junior Varsity Hockey, another exciting edition of the SCHSHL JV Ice Hockey scene. West Islip collides with St. Anthony's Gold. The 11-4 Gold team collides with the 9-6 West Islip squad. Welcome to everyone watching around the world. I'm Spencer Thompson, proud to be with you in at least where I am. I'm in the southeast right now, fortunately calling this remotely here for the LI Sports Network, but this is over in the great northeast of the United States for this respective matchup as warm-ups are over, about to begin the exciting action between these two respective junior varsity teams. West Islip, as mentioned, comes in at a record of 9-6, led by Jason Matuza, who has 10 goals total, leading the team in that respect. You've also got Ryan Bonkov, who's got 15 goals for West Islip, and both these teams should be interesting. You've got more average goals per game, essentially one more goal per game for St. Anthony's Gold, 5.7 compared to 4.4. And you also got these teams are about even within about a half fraction point in a way. In terms of a 0.5 difference in terms of penalty minutes per game, 8.3 to 7.5, so a little bit over half. And in terms of their penalty kills, both pretty phenomenal. About 86% for West Islip and 92% for St. Anthony's Gold, so should be a good matchup. For St. Anthony, they are on a 4-game winning streak heading into tonight, winning all of their games by a minimum of 2 goals or more. But in the last 3, their scores have been 8-2, 4-0, and 12-0. West Islip, 2-game losing streak heading into this evening. And prior to that, they had 3 games. They won straight, but those were before the winter break. And that 2-1 finish to 2025 for St. Anthony's Gold was right before they started out 2026 at 2-0. So St. Anthony has not lost to this point. You got Sakino starting in net for the Gold and Elko in for West Islip. At West Islip wearing blue, we're underway as it is white and gold, as you guessed it, for St. Anthony, as St. Anthony will try to defend it here first against West Islip. You got a chance here, and they'll head to the other side. There's a possession for Gasparic. Gasparic loses the puck. It gets tossed around by Santos, who plays it forward and loses the puck in the neutral zone. Potentially looked like my eyes deceived me for a moment there, but now the puck has been lost. It's swept up, and we do have a whistle as initially you had some possession there from Liam Baker. They'll head this back to the other end of the ice. Good off here as this is scooped up here by Islip. And chasing it down the length of the ice is Catazone, who's takes it behind the net, looks for a chance to set some things up here, and this gets poked away. A dart of a shot from about the right boards there, and good anticipation there from Sakino. And this will be stopped for a goal. It's a goal. There goes a first goal of the game for St. Anthony's Gold, as we'll get to show it to you here on the replay. It started out on the other side of the ice after it was fended off. Again, a ripped shot from the right corner there. Looked like it could have been West Islip that started first. And this just gets shot out of nowhere. Great one for Anthony Catazone. He's got the first goal of the night. And that one always caught me off guard because a dart from the other side. Not something you see often, but it's 1-0 for St. Anthony as Schechter gets it in possession initially. It's sent over Hurlbert. Back up in possession, Engelhard. Trying to possess it there and just gloved it down by Elko. West Islip being led by Salvatore Randazzo, their head coach. Dave Brown on the assist side. On the other end for St. Anthony, Patrick Russo, assisted by Jay Schechter and Stephen Fritz. Both coaching staffs trying to set the tone early here. Certainly the boys in gold have set the tone early in their respective first matchup as this gets poked back out. It's Engelhardt back out to the neutral zone and quick on the pressure here. Gasparic trying to weave it around the circle. Had a ladle of a pass there to Schechter. As this will go back out, still in possession. Here goes the captain trying to push it forward. This goes back along the boards outside the reach of Engelhardt as this will find its way to the other end of the ice. A shot through traffic and good anticipation by Sakino. You could see that play generating and a long stride there. As we get the next face-off coming here, about 12:43 left to go as this goes wide outside the left post from the perspective of Kino. Within about a second and a half from the face-off. This one back out, trying to go backwards on the shot. That was Salvatore Randazzo with the attempted shot there. He looked for a teammate to pass it back to on a dangerous opportunity. Aspetti did not have the angle. This gets sent up. Dandra. Just waiting for someone to pursue it there on the other end of the ice. Here goes possession. Liam Becker trying to weave it through. Liam Becker doesn't have a teammate in front to pass it to. Does try. This goes back out. Trying to weave it through traffic. A good shot attempt there from Coletti. Coletti had the good angle there, but now it's going to the other end, trying to weave it through the defenders. That gets sliced away and ramming into the boards there. Kevin Mills. Back out a shot. Maybe a pass more attempt by Salas. Looked like he may have wanted to take the shot there had it not gotten broken up by the stick of a defender. As this gets back out, a chance initially for West Islip. Good defending here as St. Anthony will try to weave it through. St. Anthony trying to go back. A shovel pass attempt there will stay in play. Doesn't go out of play, but it does go on the outside of the blue line there and back into possession for, this is Monteleone. Monteleone initially on possession there. This will get in the area. Matuza with a pass in front. Dangerous opportunity as it ends up just sending back the other way. Back in possession there, Ferrara. Chance in the possession here for Jablonski. This one will bounce its way off of the backside of the boards and back in possession. Looking for a dangerous shot attempt. Could have been a great one-timer had Salas gotten set. Tell you, Salas looking dangerous there, and Ferrara dangerous on the other side with a good test there on Elko. Chance from the left circle, trying to maybe dodge around there and get saved by Elko. Only goal of the game so far for St. Anthony's Gold, and that was off of Anthony Catazone. Didn't need an assist to get that puck to the back of the net. Just had a dart of a shot, essentially inside the blue line, back out right side. That one finds its way in for the score. A great shot woven through traffic. That looked like it was Gasparic who wove it in, and it was deflected off of Hurlburt. Get it in. Just to confirm my suspicions right from the face-off, you've got Hurlburt in there, gets it back, and it was passed back. So that from that side, so it was a shot there from Gasparic. Schechter on the pass, and at least judging by the celebrations, that's Hurlburt credited, Gasparic on the assist, and it's now 2-0 as Elko will scoop this up off of the ice. We're starting to get some fast scoring, just about as fast as we had in this previous junior varsity matchup between Connetquot and Sachem. Of course, if you're West Islip, you're hoping as much as you can that it does not get as one-sided as that other one did, as this squeaks away. Chance on the, looked like it was Hurlburt loading up for the shot, opted to pass. That one stays in, almost deflected dangerously in front of the net off of Eaglehart. This goes back out. A dangerous attempt there from Schechter, who could not get it on net. Chance now for West Islip to try and take it to the other side. It stays in the neutral zone. Good defending there initially, and it's picked up Gasparik in possession. Gasparik weaving it around, several defenders make that three. Gasparik trying to load up for a shot. He's got the shot and the score! On the cleanup, his teammate there, Jason Matuza, but such a great move by Griffin Gasparik. It's now 3-0 for St. Anthony Gold. Fantastic maneuvering to get the better of two defenders. Had on the backside there for Islip, you had Anderson Brown on the pressure and managed to get that around and squeak through Elko's pads, it looked like. And now it's 3-0. Tough hill to climb now for West Islip as Jablonski, as it initially, this will just get shoveled down into the neutral zone. Trying to possess it there was DeSantos. Back out. Dangerous shot attempt. This one goes maybe off of the stick of Sakino, but a great shot there. I believe Espetti was the one who fired up for that. Just a slip up there from St. Anthony's defensive line. Back out in possession. Randazzo, puck gets lost. Heading back the other way is Becker. Here's Becker with the shot. It gets broken up. Looked like Jablonski helped with that breakup there. Another shot on net. Elko trying to get it through. Elko with a good defense there, but not enough to draw a penalty as this gets sent forward by Monteleone. About 8 minutes left to go here in this first period. This one will head out of play. Good sequence back and forth, even if you see the score line and just tune into this one, folks. Still a close game with some good action between the two. West Islip trying to get a couple more opportunities on the offensive side, but it's been good defending from St. Anthony thus far as they get set up for another offensive stride here. Here's Ferrara trying to weave it through traffic, and it can't get sliced down by Matuza in front. Back out on the setup. This goes the other way. That was Matuza in the area. A little bit of confusion at first and trying to poke through there. That was a good opportunity from Salas if he had found a way to possess it to the other side. And now this gets reset by West Islip. Back out, puck lost by Muller. They'll take it back into their own zone. Pressure from Palmieri. Back out, still trying to pressure here. This gets poked away by Jablonski. This goes back out, a dangerous puck in front, but nobody there to one-time it from St. Anthony Gold. Back out in possession, Matuza. Matuza a chance to go on the shot. They score! Griffin Gasparik makes it 4-0. He's got his second goal of the game. Sometimes you have some really good setups, and that's what you see here. Chance there for the young man, weaves it through traffic, and goal number 2 for Griffin Gasparik. That makes it 4-0 for St. Anthony's Gold. About 6:40 left to go here in this first period. Just another dangerous puck attempt in front from the captain of St. Anthony's, who sticked it there after the pass from his teammate in Coletti. They're just firing shots over and over here on Michael Elko. There's only so much you could do as a goaltender when you're faced continuously with pressure as he pads that puck away. And this one gets possessed again. 2 in a row he's having to pad. Schechter on the second shot. Back out in the neutral zone. This gets back out to Coletti. Coletti, this will go all the way back to Elko, who will just try to settle things down and ring it around. And this heads back out to the other side of the ice for St. Anthony Gold. They get it back into their possession. And Jack Hurlbert. And it almost looked like it was a shot on net there, the way Elko slid down, as this will head to the other side of the blue line, and it will be called for an offside. Action resuming, 5:30 left, and a chance with stealing the puck, trying to get it around, and it's stopped down by Elko. A great opportunity by Jake Dandra. I beg your pardon, that's Jake Dandre, who had the attempt there as we go back to the circle for a faceoff, but great awareness by Elko on the steal there and to wedge that puck between his padding and the post. Maybe even got the back of his leg on there to prevent it from going in. Would have been a 5-0 score had that been the case, as this goes down the length of the ice. But is not an icing. Looked like it deflected off of a player. St. Anthony back on the pressure. This does go back to the other side, but is possessed by Jablonski. Back out of Spetty. Swept up around the blue line, kept on side. Monteleone loses it to Rendazzo. Slinging around the boards. Back out in possession is Becker. Becker gets the better of the defender there. Make that 2. Couldn't weave past the third man. Looking for help, but gets the puck back. He'll bounce it around the boards, and it's back to Leonard Minervini. Back out in possession. Ferreira with a shot from distance, and Elko stops it and then swallows it with his glove. So far in this first period, a goal by Catazone at the 13:50 mark. Hurlbert assisted by Gasparik at 10:07. Not even a full 60 seconds later, Griffin Gasparik scoring his first goal of the game, and then his second goal with Matuza assisting at 6:48, and that brings us to a score of 4-0 in this junior varsity matchup in the SCHSHL. Chance on net. This one goes wide. Great opportunity from Jeremy Sinclair on a breakaway, but Sakino standing tall. Here's Muller trying to weave through, gets back out to his teammate. Couldn't load up for the shot there, Matuza, but it does get out in front of the net, and Elko stopping any attack there from Matuza. Looked like Matuza tried to wedge the puck with his stick in between the legs of Elko. You know, I say tried. Looked, it was waiting for the signal there. Did he actually get it in? Because on this shot, okay, I see it now. It looked like with the angle there, it was that he stopped it with his legs, but great maneuvering there. A 5-0 competition. Matuza at the 3:53-minute mark with Nicholas Muller on the assist. I tell you, it just shows you how great these plays are, that some of them are getting the better of your announcer on this one. And it's 5-0 St. Anthony. Back out Kevin Mills. In the area, Gasparik on the shot. It's another goal. Gasparik had the initial load up. That's Morabito, I believe, with who they're celebrating on the credit. So that's now 7-0. There's your shot there, and a great deflection. Morabito has made it a 6-0 game, 3:21 left to go in. Hard to believe it's this opening first period. What we've seen from the first junior varsity matchup earlier on this same rink. Quick scoring in the first, but you at least see a little bit more bursts of speed here from West Islip. Trying to weave this through again, that's Jack Layla. In the neutral zone, firing up for a shot that goes wide on the right side. Almost a backdoor goal there for Gold. Back from the blue line, we do have a whistle for an offside. And you almost have Jack Layla not believing it, thinking he had his teammates over, that the puck didn't cross back, but much ado about nothing on that. Action resumes. It'll be back in a possession of St. Anthony. 6-0 to 10 left to go here in this opening frame. And whistles blowing on the air. Maybe some tension starting to rise high with the one-sided scoring that's going on right now. Official quick to break it up. To the right side, that's Solis. Trying to clear it out of the way so that St. Anthony's can't get another shot in that, but they do anyway as Elko bounces it off of his pad. But it's back in possession to Schechter. Schechter in front. That was Hurlburt who had the opportunity but didn't realize that he had the puck as this goes back down to the neutral zone. Back on side, Hurlburt trying to fire up a shot. Another attempt. Great save by Elko. That was a good attempt there from Schechter. Elko in good anticipation as this goes back into the possession of Aspetti, who will ladle it backwards. Trying to go on a quick break here, looking for a chance. There really was not much that puck was going to do, even though it was a good shovel forward there. That was by Solis trying to pass it to his teammate on the breakaway. And checked into the boards there is Montalone. Unable to weave it through there, Engelhart. Wedged back along the boards, trying to push it forward is Monteleone. Sent back to the neutral zone again. This will get back into the possession here of West Islip. Trying to go forward, Kevin Mills. He'll send it back. No shot, says the defense of St. Anthony's goal. Jeremy Sinclair at the right load up, but good last-second positioning of the stick. Trying to weave through on an opportunity was Becker there on the pressure. D'Andrea. Here's D'Andrea, I beg your pardon, Becker. Becker trying to weave it through, back on the outside. Jake D'Andrea trying to do a backward shot there, and it goes to the other side. Back up neutral zone. Gasparek possesses it, and that'll end this opening frame. The Gold of St. Anthony's trying to continue their incredible 4-game win streak dating back to December 8th of last year. They lead 6-0 heading into the second period. We give you back to action here. 6-0 the lead for St. Anthony Gold over West Islip, and we have a whistle a couple of seconds in. I believe that is for an offside. West Islip trying to break into the scoring category right now. Gasparic has 2 goals. The rest of the goals pretty evenly distributed among the players here. Gasparic also having 1 assist, the only other player on the team on that respective statistic, Matuza, as that's another goal. Is this a score from West Islip? It is. Even with the net getting dislodged, they're going to call it a goal for James Aspetti, and let's catch that one again. Good interception there. Aspetti picked it up from DeSantos, and that gets poked through. And the official calling a goal from the other side of the ice. It looks like the net got dislodged after the fact. And I believe we have an injury on the ice with one of the official, or I beg your pardon, one of the coaches walking over. Might be goaltender there. One of the things you hate to see. They do call goal there. It is 6-1. And Spetty assisted by DeSantos on that one. One of the things unfortunate to see with the great game of ice hockey, but as you could tell, everyone very concerned with this injury. And fortunately, with the injury, we get back to action. Player managing to get off the ice on his own power. And we got another stoppage. Face off in the neutral zone, back into action. Shoveled forward to about the blue line, back on the offensive attack here. St. Anthony's Gold. Muller trying to weave through himself on the offensive side. Goes for a shot. Elko will block it with his pads, and they'll settle to glove it down as you got 2 white jerseys, 2 blue jerseys on about the back right side of the net. A little bit of a tussle, nothing too extreme there. 6-1 advantage for St. Anthony over West Islip. This will back out. A rocket of a shot there from, that was Monteleone. And another shot there that goes off Elko's pads. Chance for a third one there as it goes back to Engelhardt, who had that second shot. And he'll get it back to around the blue line, and this will head back out for a reset in the neutral zone. Back out trying to intercept there was West Islip. But now the captain in Engelhardt will take it back down to the other side. And unfortunately, Hurlbert was offsides, and he knew it. Back up on the face-off. This is on the around the right circle. Back out in possession here. Monteleone loses the puck at first, trying to fight for it along the neutral zone. This gets back out and is back in possession. Hurlburt, he is onside this time. He's got a couple of teammates to help him with. Looking for a pass in front. Dangerous opportunity. Schechter was in the area. It stays onside thanks to the stick of Ferreira. Here's another shot that goes high and wide, but will stay in possession to St. Anthony. Back out, this puck does get lost. Icing is waved off as it'll roll down to the other side. Sakino in the area. This one back out. And in possession there was Anderson Brown, who's still pursuing the puck. Pokes it over, but back in. Monteleone gets back in possession. Monteleone on the area. Gasparic already has 2 goals so far on the night. Minervini. Send it back up. Here's Chero. Looking for a teammate to pass to, and Elko looked like he could have swallowed it there for a moment, but bounced off of his pads, and still St. Anthony on the attack. Back up. It's like Becker trying to shoot for it. A good stick save there by Jablonski. Back out at the blue line, trying to service it in. Almost possessed there by D'Andrea, who could have loaded up for a shot. This back out. Gasparic try to poke at it. Still loose in the neutral zone. And now it's a 3-on-3. Chance trying to go back up here in the middle. And did that get past Elko? It did. It's a goal. D'Andrea. Jake D'Andrea has made it 7-1 with that shot. I tell you, that was a good shot from D'Andrea, ready for the pass that was coming to him. Had a good opportunity there. Gasparic on the assist. Gasparic now has 4 points total, 2 goals and 2 assists, and it's now 7-1 here in the second. So send its way back on the other side. This is Reeve Chero at initial possession, back out to Griffin Gasparic. Gasparic trying to get the better of DeSantos, and does, as St. Anthony will try to get a quick rush here. This goes back out in the middle. D'Andrea in the area. This will head back around, and still in possession here. Liam Becker trying to weave through the defense. He does, and gets a shot on Elko, but it'll head back out for no danger. Loose stick is picked back up, but trying to fight for it there was Liam Becker again, and it's gloved down by Elko. Well, for those of you who joined us on the last game, if you thought the right circle was popular, left circle on this left side of the ice is starting to get its they're starting to get its moments of fame here. I have to tell you, if the right circle is a restaurant, the left circle needs to be some sort of entertainment center. Needs to be like a family fun center, something along those lines. Back out to the neutral zone. This gets back into Jablonski's possession. That shot was dangerous on its trajectory at first, but got sent high and above the crossbar. Trying to tone things down here, but Salas on the pressure. Now 9:30 left to go in this second frame. 6-goal lead for the Gold over West Islip. And now West Islip will try to take it back down the ice. Here's Jablonski. Gets it around at least 2 defenders. Trying to possess it, but couldn't get it off of his skates back into his stick. It does stay initially around the area there as Kevin Mills tried to keep it in. Here's Sinclair with a shot on net, and Sakino with a good save. And it looks like we are going to have a goaltending change. Looks like Sakino just under so much duress, hopefully not a major injury situation. It looked like he was a bit shaken up heading to the bench. And Peter Frankaitis will head into the action here as the backup goaltender. Back out in the neutral zone, a wipeout there for Jablonski. They won't call a foul there. Looks like it was on his own accord, or just 2 gentlemen colliding, as that is a dangerous puck in front. And great reaction there from Elko. Could have made it an 8-1 game as that shot fires again close in front, and it's fended off by West Islip for the time being. Gasparic will possess the puck. Had a little bit of pressure, but managed to get it around the boards there to Ferreira. As this one goes back out to Gasparic. Back out to the captain. Captain in possession, Hurlbert. Tried to get it over to his teammate, but too many blue jerseys around for anyone to try to do anything with that. But it does get into the possession of Gasparic to pass it back. And in the area, Engelhart. Now West Islip tries to set something up here on the outside. Jablonski with tried to load up for a shot there and goes in front of the net, but couldn't have a clear path by his teammate. Looks like Liam Becker was in the area. Attempt of a shovel there from Solis. Back out into the neutral zone. Is in possession, Coletti. Coletti and company trying to shovel a shot forward there as Kevin Mills will retain it. Mills, wipe out there as he tried possessing the puck. It's picked up by D'Andrea. Off of the stick of Becker. Managed to stay onside for a moment. Back in possession here. Chero. Poked at there by Tichinis. Elko had to go a little bit out of his net there as this stays on the offensive attack initially. Shot by the Liam Becker there as it goes outside of the glove of Elko. Maybe just tipped it a little bit, as that was a good shot there from Liam Becker. About 5:35 left to go in this second period. 7-1 St. Anthony leading over West Islip. Junior varsity action in the SCHSHL. Back in possession here is Jablonski. Jablonski trying to do it himself. That goes wide of the post. This will bounce around the backside of the net. Salvatore Coletti. Back out to the neutral zone and cut back in. West Islip trying to set up some opportunities, but not much help there as Tuchinis was in the area. About 5 minutes left to go here in this second period. This gets shoveled forward. Reeve Chero. Sent back forward now in possession. Matuza. A little bit of a wipeout in front. May try to justify. Is that we have a whistle there. They're going to call a penalty, maybe a shove down there from Frankaitis. Yes, and they are going to call a penalty on Frankaitis. It was maybe had a little bit of a sell there from the teammate, but it's obviously still keep the goaltender on. They'll have a man sit in the box for 2 on that penalty, and you got our power play, the first one of the game actually. So interference called on the goaltender, so that will be a power play for West Islip. I think they're just waiting to decide on getting this situation of who's serving that, but regardless, it will be a man advantage for the Gold to face. A good chance to cut the deficit down to 5 here for West Islip. This one in front of the net gets fended away, as it looked like Salas was in the area trying to load up for a shot. Back out Sinclair looking in front. It gets poked away. We got a whistle stoppage there as Spetty was in the area. Slipping there was Kenneth Engelhart. It looks like they're just going to call that for a safety stoppage and get us to another face-off. Salas gets the puck. Back out Mills in the area, but a chance on a breakaway here as Engelhart is heavily pursuing the puck. Manages to bounce it along the boards, but no teammate on the other side to pick it up. 90 seconds left to go in the West Islip power play as they rush back down the length of the ice. Possession Jablonski trying to pass it off. Shoveled back up. This will head all the way down. Obviously no icing on a power play, as this will get back into the possession of St. Anthony's Gold. And they did fire up for a shot there. Elko bounced it off of his pads. Just outside the reach of the West Islip player there, as this will head back down. And there is icing on the other side. There's no icing for the defenders of the power play, just to clarify, as you saw the call there. Very rare to see it head down the other way in those aspects. Line change there for the Gold. They're sending off Monteleone and Ferreira. About 50 seconds left to go on the West Islip power play. And about 3 and change left to go in this second period. Sinclair to the other side. Back up in possession, Chero. Good defense of the power play for the majority right now for St. Anthony Gold. They're keeping it in the West Islip zone. And with the final 10 seconds, it's likely that they'll defend it successfully. Trying to weave around here. Will end the power play for West Islip. Good defense from the Gold. Back to full strength after the interference from their goaltender in Frankatius. Two minutes left to go in this second period. A shot attempt there is unsuccessful from Kevin Mills. And scooped up by Jablonski. He'll try to set it up. Got a teammate that passed to up for the shot himself, and it gets gloved down by Peter Frankaitis. Shoveled back along the boards. This gold team has really shined brightly throughout these first two periods, and another chance for them to do so, trying to weave through on the backhanded shot. Did that make its way in? They'll zoom in on him, and I think that is in the back of the net for a score. Yes, it is. Another goal for St. Anthony Gold. Jason Matuza gets on the board, and that'll make it 8-1. Matuza with his second goal of the game. Gasparik also has two. No hat tricks so far for the Gold, but they have an 8-1 lead over West Islip. This flying saucer will head over to Monteleone, and he'll make it look easy as they've got a 2-on-2. In essence, Monteleone trying to pass it off, but it gets broken up. Good defending there by Anderson Brown. Back out in possession. Nicholas Muller, 50 seconds to work with in period number 2. Muller trying to find a teammate to pass to in front. He'll just have to go coast to coast. This goes back out, shot from distance, and it'll get scooped up by Elko. Elko with the scoop up. We're back to the left circle. And the left circle getting its entertainment time tonight. We said it could be family entertainment center, especially if it's inside of a ice hockey rink complex. As this gets bounced out, and we'll head along the board. And that should take us to the end of the first 30 minutes. Headed to the final 15. St. Anthony's leading West Islip 8-1 in this JV edition of SCHSHL Ice Hockey. We get back to action here. Final period of action in this JV competition. 8-1. St. Anthony Gold leading over West Islip. Pretty much just winding down. I imagine this is also under the running clock rule, with this being 8-1 here in the third. Spencer Thompson, producer Rowan Laddick. Also got Gabe Takuri running camera here in rink. Also does a great job on the social media side here with the LI Sports Network, among a lot of things. As we get to the final moments here in the JV game, at least to 13.5 before we get to the end, as this gets gloved. Not something you see often, and we hope all the best for Gadiano Sakino, who went out in the second period, and Peter Frankaitis substituting in. And I tell you, this left circle, all right, I guess it's coming on. We've got, Rowan's Rowboats sounds like a great attraction for a family fun center or even an amusement park. So for the left circle, we'll have Rowan's Rowboats, a nice little kid ride that the youngins can enjoy. We'll make it even for up to junior varsity level folks. Maybe not the varsity kids, because you have to. Those are more thrill-seeking rides. We'll do Kevin's Cotton Candy, and before you ask, hey, wait a minute, Kevin starts with a K and Cotton Candy starts with a C. Yes, but it sounds the same, and it's a sweet treat. I know Kevin likes sweets and things like that, so that'll be a part of the Family Fun Center, Kevin's Cotton Candy. Let's see. So you just imagine you go on Rowan's Rowboat. You have a cone of Kevin's Cotton Candy, and you tell the kids to behave. Otherwise, otherwise the Michael Brown man will get you. We love our boss Michael Brown, but certainly whenever you get under his skin or you cause some trouble, he can be stern, as most bosses are in this industry, as they should be. But that can be the joke. He could be one of those mascots. You've got the Michael Brown man that the kids like, kind of like Chuck E. Cheese. We do a sort of costume thing and do all of that. There's like a voice box on it that has the New York accent that has Mike's voice box on it. We could also have another section for so Ryan Brannigan on the call with Kevin Broderick on the other varsity games tonight. We could have Brannigan's Shenanigans, and we could do a whole bunch of stuff with that. Like, it could be a whole bunch of coloring. It could be some arts and crafts tables, that kind of thing. And sure, he would love to be a supervisor on that, especially if it does a good play on his respective name. So again, the right circle is the Family Fun Restaurant. The left circle is the entertainment center that combines all of these things. And of course, we have to have an ice rink or two as a part of that complex. And I mean, Long Island Elite Limousines can be your transit to and from. You don't even have to drive out there. You can be a part of an inclusive package. You get a limousine and feel like you're a movie star. Maybe My Ticket Ferry could also be a part of that too, if they sell tickets and everything. Hey, Vinny's contracting. We can get them to build the place. Sure, we can get some good rates from them, as we got a penalty here for St. Anthony Gold heading into the box. Kenneth Engelhart. Brady's box. That's another thing we could do, like a money box. It's called Brady's box, where you grab those dollar bills out of the air. as you can tell, this is the part of the game when it gets so one-sided. You try to find some light in situations there. St. Anthony's Gold has been incredible tonight. West Islip really has had their struggles against them. But one thing I will give West Islip is they've still gone for these fast breaks. You still see them fighting for the puck and trying all that they can to get these respective goals and try to crack through. They did score a goal sooner than the first junior varsity game of the night, at least, as you could see Kevin Mills beating himself up a little bit as he let that puck go away as Becker, with some good maneuvering, backhanded, there's the goal, 9-1. That was Reeve Chero scoring in after the pass off from his teammate. Great maneuvering there, and that brings us to 9-1 here in this competition. And it looks like they just adjusted. I guess we missed that. It was Kenneth Engelhart for St. Anthony's called for cross-checking for 2 minutes on the penalty. And on West Islip's power play, that's a shorthanded goal by Reeve Chero with Becker on the assist. And it gets us to 9-1. About 20 seconds left on this power play for West Islip. This is their second opportunity with a man advantage of the competition. And this is going to go to the other side. Like Elko is going to glove it down, and that will get it to, at least from our vantage point, it'll get to the right circle, which, again, restaurant. Here's another idea. Gambeski's Gumbo. Here's the thing. We have Brendan Gambeski, who's another great crew member that we have. And he, if we look at lasagna, I know lasagna and gumbo don't necessarily go together, but, Laddick's lasagna and Gambeski gumbo. But, hey, you got to have options. You have to have other things, especially. And if you don't like gumbo, that's fine. We got Campbell's chicken noodle. Very simple. We got all the options in your entertainment stuff. I'm telling you, the fact that as Elko tried, it looked like he was swallowing the puck up there, but just fell backwards with that positioning there. It may have actually gone off of him as that puck goes to the backside of the netting. I'm telling you, we need, seriously, the next time, LI Sports Network, next time we're on site, we need to have chicken noodle soup. Wherever it's from. Maybe Brady can bring a couple of cans of Campbell's chicken noodle. Maybe the spicy chicken noodle would be good too. I mean, you could also do a bread bowl from Panera and just have that while you're calling the game. Like, I think that would be fantastic. Just chicken noodle bread bowl to keep you warm in the cold ice rinks. Just wonder why no one's thought about that at this point. This gets back out for West Islip to Chinnis on the possession initially. That's Salvatore Coletti. Get it back out in possession. That's Minervini. About 7 minutes left to go here in the third. Kevin Broderick's bouncy house. I keep coming up with these ideas now because we're stretching here, obviously, in the later parts of this competition. But think about it. Kevin Broderick strikes me as a guy who loves entertainment, loves fun. Let's get a bouncy castle in the entertainment center, and let's have Kevin operate it. And he can decide which kids get to go in or not. Back out of possession, Nicholas Muller. We've also got another colleague of ours who's not in the LI Sports Network who calls games over with the Tennessee Club Sports Network, Charlie Serafian. Let's do Charlie's Horses. Have one of those, like, merry-go-round castles and just call it Charlie's Horses. I'm sure he would love to be a part of it. That would be the kind of thing that's right up his alley. Maybe we Maybe we bring him in as a silent partner or something like that. I mean, he can't be a silent partner if his name's on one of the attractions, so he's a vocal partner, I suppose. But bring him in. I'm sure he would love it. I'm sure these guys would love it. As that goes to a shot, trying to follow up there is Kenneth Engelhart. Now I got about 5.5 minutes left to go here in regulation. 9-1 advantage. Back out, a sling of a shot. This gets off of the pads of Frankaitis. Back out along the boards. 5 minutes left to go in regulation. An 8-goal lead here for St. Anthony's Gold. Looks like they're going to move to 12-4 on the year. West Islip will fall to 9-7 on the JV season, as trying to wedge it in there. That's Elko doing the best he can to keep it to just 1 goal scored on him. Again, running clock at this point, even with any of the stoppages. And back from the left circle again. This one gets sent up. Elko trying to save it again. And he does manage to stop the puck there. Ruled no goal there by the referee. I just thought of another one since we keep going between the right and left circle faceoffs here. Gabe, Takuri's teacups. You know, every good family entertainment center has a sort of teacup attraction or some sort of thing for the really little kids. So Takuri's teacups, I think, would be a good idea. This is one of those where the moment I mention Gabe's name or say anything, I'm going to get a stern call from him after this one. .320 left to go here in regulation. 9-1 lead so far. Back out to the neutral zone, trying to weave it through there is Liam Becker. Becker with the shot. This goes off of Elko. So all 3 goaltenders that have taken the ice tonight, they have at least done their part in facing several shots. Elko being tested fairly well, trying to stand tall as best as he can, only allowing 1 goal past him. Sakino and Frankaitis both having their respective challenges. Final 2 minutes here in regulation on this junior varsity match. Both teams going to head their separate ways after this one. I'm sure they'll end with their respective handshakes. As Nicholas Muller will send it back around as a shot on Elko, who fends it away and almost sliced back in there on the opposite side. Minute 10, final 70 seconds here in regulation as things wind down here for this JV matchup of the SCHSHL. Varsity action also going on tonight around the league. Several of those matchups also here on the LI Sport Work in Progress. That matchup between Conaquat and PatMed final 6-3 in favor of Conaquat Sayville. And the other matchup that started at 9:20 p.m. local time between St. Anthony and Smithtown, still in progress right now in the first period. And closer and closer to intermission as that one is live. But this one is going to wrap up here with a victory for St. Anthony Gold. 12-4 is going to be the record for St. Anthony heading into the remainder of their 2026 schedule. For West Islip, they're going to fall to 9-7. For St. Anthony's, they are on a 5-game winning streak, and West Islip continues to slide on a 3-game losing streak. As you can see, West Islip celebrating their goaltender I beg your pardon, that's St. Anthony celebrating their goaltender with only allowing one respective goal. Combined between Frankaitis and Sakino. As looks like no issue with the JV players lining up, getting ready for their respective handshake line, trying to show that one of the greater traditions in ice hockey. I guess they were waiting for the goaltender to get to the other side as I'll shake hands, wrap things up, and that will do it for this JV matchup in the SCHSHL. For our producer, Rowan Ladick, all the hardworking men and women that make this run so smoothly. I'm Spencer Topset saying so long from the northeast of the United States. St. Anthony's with the win 9-1 over West Islip.